Have you ever heard the story of how the spider tricked the sky god? No? Well, then sit with me for a while. Let me take you back, not just years, but centuries, to a time when the world was young and stories were not shared freely. You had to earn them. I was just a child when I first heard this tale, sitting by the fire, the smoke rising into the night sky like a whisper to the ancestors. My grandfather, old and wise, leaned forward and said, "Boy, remember this. Stories are like gold." And once, a spider wanted to buy them all. The spider's name was Anansi.
Anansi wasn't just any spider. He was clever. Too clever for his own good. He had the kind of mind that could untie a knot just by looking at it, and the kind of tongue that could talk a lion out of his dinner. At that time, all the stories in the world were owned by one being, the Sky God Nyame. He kept them hidden, locked away in the clouds. The people on Earth had no stories, no tales to tell, just silence when the fires burned low. Anansi thought that was unfair. So one morning, with nothing but his courage and his cunning, he spun a long silken thread, stretching it from the ground all the way up to the heavens. Yes, the spider climbed to the sky.
When he reached the sky god's palace, Nyame laughed. "You, a little spider? You want to buy my stories?" Anansi nodded. "Yes, great Nyame, I will pay whatever price you ask." The sky god leaned down, amused. "Very well. Bring me 3 things, Onini the python, Osebo the leopard, and Moboro the hornets. Bring me these and the stories will be yours." He didn't think Anansi would even try. But oh, he didn't know the spider.
Anansi returned to Earth, thinking deeply. How do you catch a snake longer than a palm tree? So he found his wife, also wise and sharper than a thorn. "Help me think," he asked. She smiled. Use his pride against him. So Anansi cut a long stick and went to the river where Onini liked to bathe. "Brother Onini," he shouted, "they say you are not as long as this stick. I told them that's a lie." Onini's eyes glowed. "Who says that? I am longer. Measure me." So Anansi laid the stick on the ground, and Onini stretched beside it. "But wait," Anansi said. "To measure properly, I must tie you down so you don't move." By the time Onini realized the trick, he was tied head to tail, tighter than a drum. One down.
Osebo was faster than the wind, and his claws could tear bark from a baobab tree. But Anansi dug a deep pit in the jungle, covering it with leaves. When Osebo came stalking through the trees, he fell in. Boom! Trapped. Anansi sauntered up to the edge, smiling. "Osebo, my friend," he said, "I'll help you out with my web." He spun a strong rope from silk and pulled the leopard halfway up, then tied him to a tree. Osebo roared, but it was too late. 2 down.
Now Moboro, the hornets, were the trickiest of all. They moved like shadows and stung like fire. But Anansi had a plan. He filled a gourd with water and climbed up to the hornet's nest. Then he poured the water over the tree. The hornets buzzed angrily. "Rain! Rain!" Anansi held up a hollow calabash. "Quick, come inside! Stay dry!" The hornets, foolish and panicked, flew in one by one. As soon as the last one entered, Anansi slammed it shut. 3 down.
He climbed back up the silk thread to the sky, dragging his prizes behind him. Nyame was shocked. He blinked, and then he laughed. "You have done what no other creature could." He took the hornets, the leopard, and the snake. Then he opened a great chest. Inside were the stories, glowing, shimmering, alive. Nyame poured them out into Anansi's hands like stars. From now on, the Sky God said, all stories shall be called Anansi stories. Go and spread them across the earth.
And that is why we have stories today. Not just tales of gods and animals, but love, trickery, wisdom, justice. All because one little spider believed stories were worth chasing, even to the heavens. So the next time you sit by the fire or gather with friends and someone begins a tale with once upon a time, remember, you are part of a tradition older than memory. A tradition born from the courage of a spider and the gift of the Sky God.